It's 2:47 a.m., your leg seizes, you're awake, heart pounding, again. You stretch it out, wait for it to pass, stare at the ceiling, and tomorrow you'll be exhausted for a reason your doctor probably never mentioned. You've tried everything, earlier bedtime, no screens, maybe melatonin, and you still wake up at 2 a.m. stiff, cramping, or just lying there staring at the ceiling, wondering why your body won't cooperate. Here's what nobody told you. There's a muscle, one most people completely ignore, that scientists now believe sits at the crossroads of how easily you fall asleep, how deeply you stay asleep, and how restored you feel when you wake up. And the wildest part? It's not in your head. It's not even close. Let's talk about what's actually happening when sleep goes wrong and what you can start doing about it tonight. First, some context most people don't have. For decades, scientists thought sleep was entirely a brain event. The hypothalamus signals the body, the pineal gland releases melatonin, the brainstem flips the switch, and you drift off. That picture isn't wrong, but it's dramatically incomplete. Here's where things get interesting. Research from the American Physiological Society now points to something that's quietly reshaping how we think about sleep. Your skeletal muscles may actively participate in regulating your sleep need, not just passively recovering during sleep, but actually sending signals to the brain that influence how deeply you sleep and how well you recover from poor nights. The key molecule involved is something called BMAL1, a circadian clock gene found not just in the brain but inside your muscle tissue. In animal studies, mice that had BMAL1 altered in their skeletal muscle showed disrupted sleep and struggled to recover from sleep deprivation. When it was restored specifically in the muscle, not the brain, sleep normalized. That's a remarkable finding. It suggests your muscles aren't just passengers in your sleep cycle. They're part of the conversation. But here's the practical question. Which muscle matters most right now, tonight? The answer, according to multiple lines of research, is the diaphragm. Your diaphragm is the large dome-shaped muscle sitting just below your lungs and heart. It is your primary breathing muscle. And because breathing and sleep are inseparably linked, the state of your diaphragm directly affects how quickly you fall asleep, how stable your breathing stays through the night, whether stress hormones stay elevated, and whether you cycle properly through deep, restorative sleep stages. Most people chest breathe, shallow, fast, upper body breaths, especially under stress. And when you chest breathe, your nervous system reads it as a low-level threat signal. Your body stays subtly alert, your heart rate doesn't settle, your brain never fully lets go. That's the problem most people miss entirely. A 2025 pilot study found that when researchers applied a manual diaphragm release intervention to participants, sleep duration improved, sleep latency improved, meaning people fell asleep faster, and overall sleep quality scores dropped significantly in the right direction. And separately, a 2026 pilot polysomnography study found that respiratory muscle training improved sleep quality even in people with mild to moderate obstructive sleep apnea. Your diaphragm isn't just a breathing pump, it's a nervous system regulator, and for most adults it's chronically underused and chronically tight. But here's where things get worse for a lot of people, and it almost never gets addressed. Most nighttime awakenings aren't about the diaphragm at all. They're about a completely different set of muscles. The calves, nighttime leg cramps, those sharp, sudden spasms that bolt you awake, are one of the most common sleep disruptors, especially in adults over 50. And research shows they don't happen because of simple electrolyte deficiency, which is what most people assume. The actual cause? Abnormal high-frequency nerve firing in the lower leg muscles. The calf, specifically the gastrocnemius and the deeper soleus, is primed to cramp because of one deceptively simple reason. When you sleep with your toes pointed slightly down, which most people do naturally, your calf muscle is already in a shortened position. And when any extra nerve signal fires during sleep, the muscle contracts suddenly into a cramp with nowhere to go. Sedentary days make it worse. Sitting for hours gradually shortens the tendons and tightens the muscle. Then at night, that chronically shortened calf becomes what researchers describe as trigger happy. And here's the study that changes everything. A 6-week trial in older adults found that nightly calf and hamstring stretches reduced nocturnal leg cramp frequency by about 35% and lowered pain intensity. That's not a minor result. That's 1/3 fewer nights being jolted awake from a simple 5-minute pre-bed routine. So, what do you actually do? This next part surprises most people because the solution isn't complicated, it's specific. Step 1. Before you get into bed, stretch both layers of your calf. Most people only stretch the gastrocnemius, the outer visible calf muscle. But the soleus, the deeper muscle underneath, is just as responsible for nighttime cramps. Miss it, and you're only solving half the problem. For the gastrocnemius, stand facing a wall, place your hands on it. Step one leg back, keep the heel flat on the floor, and keep your back knee straight. Lean forward until you feel a pull through the upper calf. Hold 30 to 45 seconds. Switch sides. For the soleus, same setup. But this time, bend the back knee slightly while keeping the heel down. You'll feel it lower, deeper. That's the muscle you've been missing. Hold 30 to 45 seconds on each side. Step 2. Do ankle pumps in bed. Lie on your back. Slowly point your toes away from your body, then pull them back toward your shin. 20 repetitions each foot. This simple movement improves blood flow in the lower leg and, research shows, helps glide the muscle tissue to reduce stiffness and nocturnal cramping. Step 3. Add the legs up the wall pose for 5 to 10 minutes. Lie on your back beside a wall. Swing your legs up so they rest vertically against the wall. Let gravity drain fluid from your lower legs. This pose also activates the parasympathetic nervous system, your body's rest and digest mode, which is exactly the state you need to be in before sleep. Now here's the fix almost nobody uses, and the science behind it is stronger than most people realize. Progressive muscle relaxation, PMR. PMR was developed by physician Edmund Jacobson back in the 1920s. The concept is simple. You systematically tense and then release muscle groups starting from your feet and working upward. But the effects are anything but simple. A 2022 EEG study found that participants who did PMR before a daytime nap spent approximately 10 more minutes in slow-wave sleep, the deepest, most physically restorative sleep stage, compared to controls who didn't do it. A 2024 trial found that after just 4 weeks of nightly PMR, both sleep quality scores and anxiety scores dropped significantly, not mildly, statistically significant drops. And a 2025 systematic review looking at 7 different trials concluded that all studies reported meaningful improvements in sleep quality after PMR. Why does it work? Because most people go to bed carrying the physical tension of the entire day in their jaw, their shoulders, their calves, without ever consciously releasing it. PMR forces the body to notice tension and let it go. It also interrupts the kind of mental rumination, the racing thoughts, the worry loops, that keeps people staring at the ceiling. Here's a 7-minute version for tonight. In bed, on your back. Start with your feet. Pull your toes upward, creating tension. Hold 3 seconds. Release fully and breathe out. Move to your calves. Tense lightly, not aggressively. Hold 4 seconds. Release. Continue up through your thighs, glutes, belly, hands, shoulders, jaw, and finally your eyes and forehead. After the last muscle group, breathe slowly. In for 4 seconds, out for 6, for 2 full minutes. One important detail, mild tension only. Several people overdo PMR before bed and end up activating their muscles instead of releasing them. You're aiming for a light, deliberate squeeze, not a workout. Now here's the insight that ties everything together. And this one genuinely matters more than most people think. Your muscles aren't just getting worse at night because of what you do before bed. They're getting worse because of what you do, or don't do, during the day. And the same skeletal muscle research that identified the BMAL1 sleep signaling pathway also points to something practical. Your large leg muscles, your quads, glutes, and hamstrings appear to function as metabolic signaling organs that communicate recovery demand to the brain. When you use them sufficiently during the day, your body generates stronger biological sleep pressure by night. This is likely one of the core reasons exercise reliably improves sleep in study after study. It's not just about being physically tired, it's about activating a muscle-to-brain biochemical conversation that primes deep sleep. A brisk 20-minute walk in the morning, which combines daylight exposure with leg muscle activation, is one of the most powerful zero-cost circadian anchors you have. They add 2 to 3 days of resistance training per week focused on large compound movements like squats, lunges, or stairs, and the evidence suggests your deep sleep will measurably improve over several weeks. The reversal is also true. Sedentary days, sitting for hours, barely moving, weaken sleep pressure. That's why you can feel exhausted but still not sleep well. The tiredness is real, but the biological signal for deep restorative sleep was never properly built during the day. So let's bring it together. The muscle most people overlook is the diaphragm. Train it through slow nasal belly breathing before bed. 4 seconds in, 6 seconds out for 5 minutes. That single habit can shift your nervous system from alert to calm in a way that no sleep supplement can match. The muscle that most commonly wakes people at night is the calf. A consistent 5-minute pre-bed routine, ankle pumps, 2-layer calf stretches, and the legs up the wall pose, combined with hydration earlier in the day, has been shown to cut nighttime cramping by over a third. And the muscle system most responsible for the quality of your deep sleep across the long term? Your large skeletal muscles. Your legs, your glutes, your back. Move them during the day, give them work to recover from, and your brain will respond by going deeper at night. Here's your one takeaway from all of this. Sleep is not purely a brain event. It is a whole body conversation. The muscles you use during the day set the stage. The muscles you release at night lower the curtain. When both sides of that equation work together, sleep stops being a struggle and starts being something your body actually knows how to do. If this gave you something you didn't know before, subscribe. We break down the science of your body, clearly, practically, and without the fluff, so you can actually use it.